everyone! Welcome to a really simple DIY class that we have created for you guys. Out of our scrap leather, we are going to make little medicine bags. You have an option to not add the string, and then it can just be like a little, I don't know, card sleeve or a place for some crystals. Yeah. So in the bag you picked up from the store, you should have one pattern piece that's all pre-punched, a little tiny button, and a lace. And then you'll also need a pair of scissors. So the first step before we stitch it together is to put on whatever we want to fasten the pouch. In every bag we made a little leather button, but we made them really ugly so that you're creative about what you want to put there. On this one I found a little medallion Chinese coin that I put on there. Other ideas, an antler, a stick works, a little shot cartridge, a cool piece of hardware or a crystal, anything that can fit through this slit will do well. Okay, so if you choose to use the button, you will either be cutting off a piece from your long piece or there will be a small piece enclosed. But you just want to cut off some sharp angles so that you can thread it well. And you'll stick it through each side like that. And then you'll stick it on your pattern like this. And the best way to make it not come off is to tie a knot in the back like that. If you want to do a different object, let's say I want to do this crystal, I'm going to find some random string and wrap it around the center. It'll act as kind of like a peg closure. So, like that. And I'm going to tie a double knot. Make sure it's really tight. You could put some super glue on there. Just like that. Then I'm going to do the exact same thing I did with the button. And I'm going to put one side in each hole, flip it around. I'm going to tie a square knot, which everyone should know how to do that. You go left over right, just like that. And then you take that right one that you just went over and you go over again. These knots will always hold if you use the same side and go over with that. Both times, it doesn't work very well. Cut it, and there we go. Okay, so now that we have our latch or button or whatever you chose fixed onto it, we're gonna sew it together. So I like to use alligator clips, your standard alligator clips, just to hold it together. You could also use clothespins. You could also use nothing, whatever you like. So I will hold them together like that. It is really important that on the back piece, you leave this first hole not covered, and then all the other ones will line up perfectly. So make sure that you skip this hole when you line it up. And it's a lot easier if you cut the end of the string into like a little needle end like that. So what we'll do is we'll tie this in a knot. Just a standard knot. And I want my knot to be hidden, so I'm going to start from the back, but if you like the knot showing, you can start from the front. You could also tie a knot and have a long string, so it has strings hanging down. There's a lot of options. So you will start from the back like this, pull it out, And then you have the option of 2 different ways to stitch. You can either stitch straight up this piece like this, and then you go from the back and you go forward. All right, and then you'll go back down. Oops. I love when only one side is sticking up. So you can either stitch it like this, okay, the other stitching technique, once again, you have the knot at the end, and you're gonna go from the back side, is to loop it around the sides. Like this. And that gives it more of kind of a, I don't know, Western look. I like this stitch, so I'm going to continue with this stitch, and I'll show you what the mystery single hole is for. Okay, so when you get to this last hole, you pull it out. Now the string is in the front, which doesn't make much sense if you have something that folds over. So we're gonna just put this cord out that hole to the back. And that, then now we can either choose if we want to do a long string and stitch it back, or we can just go straight over, and it can be more of like I don't know, a card sleeve, something without like a necklace piece. So if I want to do a big necklace piece, I will, this stitch takes a lot more string than just a standard straight stitch. So I'll give it a little bit of slack, and then I'll do exactly what happens on this side where it goes through the back and then through these double holes, and then I start winding it back again. Make sure it's straight. It looks a lot better if the top grain is on top. And there we go. I'll loop it back. Okay, so now that I'm at the end, I have just enough tail length to go through this last one. And then I'll make a knot. Like that. And I'll clip it. If you end up getting to the bottom and you do not have enough string, you can easily just kind of pull it through and give yourself some slack. But you do want to kind of pay attention to how big that piece is. And now we're on to the final step. Okay, so now that you have it stitched, either straight stitch or this kind of edge stitch, we made all of these pieces out of our scrap leather, so all of the front of them are varying a bit. It's the one part of the pattern that we did not trim. So what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna put your button or whatever piece will hold your pouch together through the hole, and then you can decide kind of what you want it to look like. So I love seeing the side stitch personally. So I'm gonna take my scissors and I'm gonna cut like that, and then I think having kind of maybe a cool uneven something will be cool. And then I'm also trimming this edge so I can see the saddle stitch, just like that.